All right, and we are back, ladies and gentlemen. It's an absolute honor to sit down with Aden Theo today on the podcast. Bro, what is up?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Man, I'm doing proper mega, as I always say, man. I love this is one of my favorite things in the world to do is sit down and interview all my race friends from around the world. And it's super exciting to have you on today. Obviously, I've been following you for a while. I've heard your name pop up, especially by Michael Perriott and Michelle and them for quite a while. And yeah, I said, you know what? I've already talked to Aden. He's coming on the podcast already. So let's go. And here we are, right? So, man, as always, we have a lot to talk about since this is our first initial podcast. I just want to jump headfirst into it. Where did your journey begin on them two wheels?
Yeah, so I think my story is it's a little different than other road racers. I think we were talking earlier how I was saying, yeah, I wish I started road racing at that age. Actually, I didn't start riding motorcycles until I was 15. So I was a sophomore in high school. At the time, I had no idea what road racing was. I had no idea what MotoGP was at the time. Funny story. I just asked my parents if I could get a motorcycle, just to have one, just to own one, just to ride around town, and just be cool on it. But at the time, I never had any idea what racing was. I never even knew what MotoGP was or World Superbike was at the time. But as most smart parents, they didn't allow that. They didn't allow me to get a motorcycle, especially being a sophomore in high school at the time. But my dad actually rode motorcycles back when he was in college, going to school and going to work and coming home. So he had some leniency on motorcycles. He just didn't want me on the street. When by the time my 15th birthday rolled around, my dad got me a Ninja 250. So that's kind of how this journey started. But there was only one rule, one exception. There was no street riding. So 15 years old, I got a brand new Kawasaki Ninja 250, and he took me to the track. I got a full suit, I got helmet, I got gloves, I got boots. I was ready, and I think that's when I actually started to fall in love with track riding in general. As the first thing goes, wasn't too good at it. I was still like stalling the bike. I was still dropping the bike, but I think that was. Now I look back at it, that was the proper way to learn. That was a proper way to go. And then we actually had a few buddies, a few uncles of mine as well that did a lot of club racing at the time. They were pretty experienced with riding motorcycles, and then that's how we got into racing club. So all of that probably took within, I would say, less than a month, to be honest with you, to when I first got the bike on my 15th birthday. And when I did my first track day, I think it was less than 2 weeks. And then I did my first actual club race in less than a month. So everything kind of took off very fast. Looking back at it, it felt long. It was a long journey. But looking back at it, I've only been in this road racing scene for, I believe, 6 years now. Yeah, it's only been 6 years from when I first started riding motorcycles to where I am today. And I think we progressed pretty quickly, I would say. We got accepted into Moto America within less than a year from when I first learned how to ride a motorcycle, which I look back at it now, which is pretty impressive. But a lot of
You
that,
right, it is.
yeah, a lot of that couldn't have been done with a lot of the community support, a lot of the sponsors, and especially my parents for backing me up through that whole time, and even to this day. But yeah, I think that was one of my biggest accomplishments. I think all of that happened very, very fast, and it was such a short notice at the time. But I think I was so young at the time. I was just like, okay, yeah, whatever. But looking back at it now, like I feel kind of old now. I just turned 22 a few weeks ago, so I do feel a little old, and I do wish that I started road racing, got into the motorcycle scene when I was a lot younger. A lot of guys that are racing professionally, they were kind of born into it. They started riding when they were 5, 6 years old. They started racing before they were 10. So a lot of the guys that I compete with nowadays, they do have a lot more experience than I do. But that doesn't mean that you can't compete with them at the end of the day.
100%. What a introduction and journey you've had so far. Starting out at 15, my mom was the same way. She was like, "No, can't have no motorcycle." Right. So when I grew up, my dad was a fighter pilot in the Navy, so we moved constantly. Right. My dad, he rode. He used to take me riding. He was like your dad, all about it. Right. Mama was like, "Absolutely not." Right. So every base we moved to, I become friends with kids friends with kids that had dirt bikes. So I grew up riding their dirt bikes, right? And then when I turned, similar to you in high school, when I turned 16, I got my driver's license. The following week, I got my motorcycle permit, my learners, and I bought a brand new 1996 ZX6R to the same floor in high school, and haven't looked back since. It was my mom was a nervous wreck, obviously, right? I was like, I'll be fine, Mom, no worries, dude. I would stay out and come back at like 3, 4 in the morning. My mom would still be up. I'm like, what are you doing up? She's like, I was just so worried about you. And I never understood that until I had a kid, right? And then now I know exactly what she means by that. I just want you to be okay. I just want you to come home in one piece and you be okay. And I can finally go to sleep. I get it, right? But that, man, the main thing also that I love about the journeys too is it always starts with the father and son or father and daughter, right? And that is a bond and a journey, and it's so beautiful. Not a lot of people get to do and have, right?
Yeah.
And it's just it's proper mega. I mean, that's the best way to put it, right? It's something that's unique, and it's such a bond, and it's very detrimental at an age, whatever age it is, to have that full support of your father and your mother involved, right? It's I don't know if your parents ever said this, but my mom used to say it all the time. It takes a village to raise a child. It's the same thing in road racing. It takes one village to raise you, right? Meaning not just your mom and dad, but the sponsors and everybody else in between, the puzzle and the pieces that I told you about earlier. Everything's got to come into place, right? And I believe that everything happens for a reason. You know, there's a reason why you started at 15, and the reason why you are where you are today is because you're freaking fast, bro. You got what it takes to make it. Obviously, you're there, right? And how many people could say, hey, I started within a year, I made it to Moto America, and I race in Thailand in the BRIC Championship. I hope I got that right.
Yes, yeah, BRIC
right.
Super.
Yeah, so, bro, like, come on, man. You're a freaking legend, man. Get out of here, Aden.
I think at the time when I was still in high school, I think the mindset was totally different back then. I just wanted to be that cool kid that had a motorcycle and I rode a sport bike to school. And I think looking back at it now, I would still love to experience that, just being that cool kid that rides a sport bike to school. But I'll definitely make sure my son he gets a sport bike. But there was definitely some leniency with my dad, of course. He was actually a commercial pilot. He was going to school back then, going to flight school at the time. So he kind of understood where I was coming from a little bit. But being a sport bike owner, at 18, 19 years old, he understood the risk and the dangers, of riding a sport bike on the street. And my oldest brother as well, he's also finishing up his commercial license as well to become a pilot. But I wanted to be a little different. My dad, he used to fly for United, and my brother, my oldest brother, following his footsteps as well. But I like motorcycles. I never really got into airplanes and that kind of stuff. But we're family riders now. My dad used to ride a Gixxer 750 back then. My older brother, he rides an R6. And then I don't have a street bike, but I race a ZX6. So, yeah, we're family motorcycle riders now. Yeah.
I love it, man. I love it. It's funny you said you're sitting there saying my dad's a pilot. And my dad obviously was a pilot in the Navy, but he flew for United Airlines when he got out of the Navy. He just retired last year. So my dad's 65. Yeah. So he just retired last year and he flew with United the whole time. Small world, right? I remember back when I was in high school, this is before September 11th. I used to get blank tickets and I can go to the airport and right out where I want to go. I had to be dressed, sort of decent, and I can hand them a ticket, give my license, and off I went wherever I wanted to go. Right. And yeah, those were the days back then. I felt like I don't know, it was just different, right? Having a dad that was a pilot, had free tickets to go wherever I wanted to go on the weekends. It was surreal for sure. After September 11th, all that shit stopped 100%. But we got Michelle in here with us. What is up, Michelle? She said, "Hi guys, so happy you guys linked up for this podcast. Sweet shirt. Which one? The TT, the Komani, or the AGV, or all three?"
I think all of them. All of them looks good.
Right, me too. I almost wore that one, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to put it up on display because I got your suit hanging up right here in the background, all thanks to Michael and Michelle. So yeah, man. So which brings me, how did that whole thing link up with you and them? How did all that happen?
I believe it wasn't that long ago. I think it was the end of 2024. I believe it was like November or December. Michael reached out to me, AGV Sport. He reached out to me and pretty much like how you did. You know, it was like, hey, I've been looking at a few of your stuff. I see that you're racing overseas in Thailand, and at the time, I think still currently now, Michael travels to all throughout Asia. I know he travels to parts of Pakistan, India as well. I think he's out there right now. As
He's in the Ukraine, I think, right now. Yeah,
somewhere. He's always traveling. But Michael. He's a really good guy. You know, he's a busy guy, that's for sure. You know, he's always in a new country every time I speak to him. But yeah, no, it's a great guy. Great people that works over there as well. But yeah, they kind of reached out to me to see if if we were interested in working together. We've been racing in Thailand over there in Asia for the past 5 years now. Yeah, 5 years now. So we have a lot of connections with a lot of the riders out there in overseas in Asia. We do have a lot of stuff that we plan on doing in the future with Komani, AGV Sport. You know, a lot of leather companies, a lot of maybe possible helmets in the future. A lot of the stuff that a lot of road racers and street riders would wear. Maybe I'm not allowed to talk about everything because it's still in the makings and in the talks. But yeah, they pretty much reached out to me. It's not even about half a year ago. So all of this is still pretty new. They've been nothing but supportive with me. They've been sending me out some killer t-shirt designs. This is actually one of the designs that they made. They got that out pretty fast. They got a few suits out for me. They got a practice suit for me. They got a race suit for me, and just nothing but good things to say about those people. So I want to thank Michelle and Michael one last time, and everyone with the Komani AGV Sport. Is nothing but love from them, and yeah, I can't say enough good things about them.
I love it, man. Yeah, they are absolutely amazing people, man, for sure. Yeah, I have had the honor to hang out with them at a couple races. We're actually gonna hang out at Jersey too as well, so it's always a good time. Let me ask you this. You know, you said first year, bro, making it to Moto America, awesome journey, right? When you got into Moto America, was it because the schedule is kind of like a military schedule. It's certain time slots. I got to go get my tires done between here and here, and the tire stickers and all this stuff that goes along with it. Was that something too difficult to make that transition to get used to from club racing?
Actually, it was a little difficult at first, but my first ever Moto America race was when Moto America was still coming to Sonoma. So we actually went to Laguna Seca, I believe, the round right before. So thankfully we had two Moto America rounds in California at the time. I know they don't race at Sonoma. I think the past few years they haven't raced at Sonoma, but yeah, we actually got to go and experience Moto America at Laguna Seca. I think that year was when World Superbike actually came and joined Moto America at Laguna Seca. So it was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool experience to see the whole Moto America paddock out there with World Superbike at the time. At the time, we did have a lot of the club racers that I was racing with. They were still in Moto America, so it was great to see the whole Moto America paddock. A lot of the club racers I was racing with at the time, and the other thing as well was I wasn't even an expert racer in the club yet, so I was still a novice racer, club racing on the Ninja 400 at the time. So it was pretty fascinating, but we got to understand a little bit of the schedule and everything, the tire stickers, like you said, how many tires we're allowed to run. I think the junior cup class, I think we were only allowed one compound for the tires, so it wasn't as crazy as it like nowadays where you have like extra soft, you know, medium, and you kind of have to play it by ear. But nowadays, I'm very thankful. I have a team for all that. They just pretty much ask me, how's the bike riding? And, you know, you give them that information and you make the best out of it. But I think we had a pretty solid team our first time out. But unfortunately, I did have a very bad crash that debut weekend as well. So that weekend was cut short, definitely. But I think we definitely improved as the years went on. And it was definitely a little different joining the Junior Cup class at the time. It wasn't just the schedule with everything. It was the whole scene. It was the whole scene. You know, I was going out there and racing with a lot of these racers that was, you know, been racing their whole life. It was weird because at the time, the Junior Cup class or 400s, they had that RPM limiter or restriction. Yeah, something that I wasn't used to running at a club race, because at a club race, it was like you just run it all the way to red line. But the Junior Cup class, we couldn't. I think it was like 10.5 or something, or 11,000. That was our red line. So it was definitely different. Just whole different scenery too. I rid in Sonoma before that, but when I went out there for Moto America, it felt like a whole new track. So it was definitely an eye opener. Definitely where I was like, wow, okay, this is a professional series, and it's something I wasn't used to at the time. I'm sure every road racer or any racer of any kind, I'm sure their first actual pro race, I'm sure we all have the same experience. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's just like the first time we put on a leather suit, we feel like we're invincible, right? We're like, yes, it's awesome. And then all we want to do is drag our knee, right? And once we do that, it's everything else you want to accomplish in between. Yeah, it's nobody will ever forget their first experience when it comes to that, for sure. You know, and then you did that in the Junior Cup. Then how did you end up racing the championship in Thailand? How did all that come together?
Yeah, so I believe our first year ever going to Asia, it was back in 2020. It was like, yeah, it was 2020. It was January or something. It was so long ago. It was as far as 2020. I remember it was right before the pandemic. So actually, when we got to Thailand, very first time in Thailand, this was 5 years ago, right before the 2020 COVID pandemic, and I remember like first hearing about like the COVID thing, and it didn't really start until I got back into the States. But back to your question, sorry, just getting off topic here. But I think our original plan was, when we got into road racing, the actual road racing scene, was we wanted to expand outside of the United States. I'm sure a lot of the racers here that race Moto America, I'm sure in the future they would love to expand outside of the United States. You know, I believe there is a lot more. What's that word? It was a little easier for us to get into the road racing scene outside of the United States, especially in Asia, especially in Thailand as well, because we do have a lot of family there, and a lot of the supporters from my community are actually from Thailand. So it actually worked out. So that was just kind of like a little stepping stone of us going out there and dipping our toes in the water back in 2020, and we loved it. We loved the country. We loved the scenery. We loved the people out there. We especially love the road racing scene out there as well. It's so much more lively outside the United States, especially with the motorcycle road racing scene. Out there in Asia or out there in India or something, you know, other countries outside of the United States, a lot of the people out there, their main transportation are motorcycles, unlike here in the United States. So I think out there, they're just kind of more naturally born into it, you know, being on two wheels, especially a lot of parts of Asia. You know, they ride mopeds every day. You know, you see a S1000 or Ducati V4 just parked on the street out there, you know, which is here in the United States just is pretty rare to see that kind of stuff. But yeah, we first started racing in 2020 in Thailand, and we've been going back ever since. We never actually done a full season. We've always just kind of went out there and did a few rounds here and there. But this year, we're actually trying to do the whole complete season of the BRC Super.
I love it, man. What advice would you have for somebody that's races here in the United States to try to make it over there?
I think everyone has their own. Everyone has their own vision. Everyone kind of has their own goals of where they want to go. We went out to Europe back in 2023, and we did some testing and racing and training in Spain as well. We met with a few good buddies of mine that was actually racing here in the United States. Cody Kitchens, he's out there in Spain, so we met up with them. Yeah, it didn't work out too good out there, but I definitely got some experience of training with a lot of Europeans, and I'm telling you, they're crazy out there. They're fast, and I know why they're fast out there. Yeah, a lot of the Europeans and the Spaniard people, but my advice would be is just go race where you want to race. I think everyone has their own aspect to the road racing scene. I know a lot of the racers here, like a lot of the top racers here in America, a lot of them haven't raced overseas. A lot of them, they're really good racers here in America, and maybe they never got the opportunity, or maybe it's just their decision at the end of the day to not race overseas. For me and my team specifically, it's a lot cheaper. One, it's a lot cheaper to race over in Asia versus racing here in the States, and I think there is a lot more opportunities racing overseas, especially in Asia. Not to talk bad about Moto America or anything, but Moto America, they're a great series. They've always been a great series, and they're still improving to this day. To this day, I would still love to race with Moto America because it's just closer to home. But you go out there to Asia, you actually see factory teams. Like, you actually have factory Honda, factory Yamaha, factory Kawasaki, no Suzuki, but there's just the road racing scene out there. It seems a lot more lively, and it's a lot easier to gain recognition out there. There's a lot more opportunities, and the cost of racing is a lot cheaper. So yeah.
Yeah, it's also a lifestyle to them too as well. And you said that earlier, right? It's more motorcycles on the street than there is cars. Here in the United States, everybody's football and baseball and basketball or any of that. I don't watch none of it. So, but I'm with you on that, man. It's you're right. Everybody's got their own visions and their own goals in this sport, or where they want to end up and what they would like to do and what they want to achieve. So that's my question for you, Aden. What is your end goal? Where do you see yourself? What championships do you want to win? All that good stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure if you ask any road racer, like motorcycle road racer, everyone's gonna say their end goal is MotoGP. So yeah, that's always gonna be everyone's mainly everyone's end goal. That's gonna be my end goal as well, to eventually get there. And everyone, we're all fighting the same battles. We're all trying to get there. Everyone's just taking their different paths. I'm gonna go back a little bit to what we were talking about earlier. When you think about sports here in America, like you said, what's the most popular sport here in America? It's not anything with motorsports. It's football, it's baseball, basketball, versus outside of the United States. Soccer is really big throughout the world, but especially when you get to Asia, motorsports is pretty big out there. I think our closest things to motorsports here in the United States would probably be drag racing, would probably be one, and NASCAR. So I think just us Americans, we're not really into like the whole circuit racing, the whole especially the motorcycle scene aspect of it. But yeah, it's definitely different than racing here in the States. And I think too, any of the road racers that still do race here in the States and never had the opportunity to race overseas, try it. Yeah, maybe you'll love it, maybe you won't, but I definitely fell in love with racing outside the United States. When I first went to Spain, I got to see the competition level of how hard they train out there. I understand why they're good. Yeah, you got 4 or 5-year-old kids just out there running at the kart track all day, every day. I think I saw like an 8 or 10-year-old kid just ripping around a kart track on an R6, and he was sliding the bike around and dragging his shoulder. I was like, I still can't do that to this day. You know? So
Oh, we can, but my hips follow right after that, right? And the bike goes the opposite way. So yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, it definitely opens your eyes. You know, you look at a lot of the world racers, the top level racers in the world, 95% of them are Europeans. And when you go out there and you actually experience it, now you understand why they're such high leveled racers. Um, sorry, scooting back a little bit too. Um, I think the competition, if we're strictly talking about competition, um, I think competition is definitely a lot higher outside of the United States. You know, especially when you start racing in overseas in Europe and Spain and France, Italy, and some parts of Asia as well. Uh, I know Thailand. They recently have their current MotoGP racer, Sancha. I might have butchered his name, sorry, but yeah, he's racing in MotoGP now. He was a Moto2 rider. Um, Tita Pong, he was a backup rider for I believe Kawasaki in World Superbike for Jonathan Ray and Sam Lowe. So I mean, Thailand's definitely pushed out a lot of fast riders for how small that country is, you know, compared to here in the United States. Yeah, I definitely say that there's fast guys wherever you go. I mean, even here in Moto America, we have fast guys that could compete in the highest level of racing out there. But I think just the numbers wise of that series pushing out top level riders, I think it's definitely going to be overseas. That's for sure.
Oh, 100%. I agree. We don't have the infrastructure that they have out there and the availability of kart tracks where you can pay $10 and just ride all day long. You know, we're not a country that loves the sport like me and you love the sport, right? Like Asia and Europe and all them, they're absolutely head over heels in love with the sport. So it's easy for them to start out at a much younger age because they have the track availability, and the country's not so big where you got to drive from where you at in California to VIR, bro. That's a 3-day trip straight up, right? Like nobody's going to do that just to do a track day. Nobody's going to do that to do test and tune or any of that. So yeah, but over there, you know, you can drive, dude, in the UK in 6 hours, you can be at any track in the UK there is. And there's kart tracks everywhere. You can drive to Spain and be there in like 4 hours or 3 hours, or France, or everything's so close. So it's cheaper to get into the sport too. And plus it's a lifestyle. They love it. They eat it. They breathe it. It's on TV. It's at the grocery stores. It's everywhere. Here, what do we see? Football, NASCAR, basketball.
Yeah.
That's it.
Even just the spectators that come out just for it's not even MotoGP. I know Bariram, they have the MotoGP circuit, the one that we raced at Chong, but just the people that actually come out and just spectate and support, it's insane compared to here in Coda, right, in Texas. Like you still have a good amount of people that show up for MotoGP here in Austin, but it's nothing compared to the kind of support and love that they get outside of the United States. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. I went so BSB is my favorite race organization as far as production bikes are concerned, right? I love BSB. I love the fact that they race the super bikes with hardly any electronics. So it's old school, proper way of racing, right? This is your traction control, your rear brakes, your anti-wheelie, you're leaning up on the tank, trying to still get in the gas. And yeah, so but you're right. You know, I've been to a lot of MotoGP races, of course, a shit ton of Moto America races, and BSB too as well, Cadwell, and the atmosphere is different at every race you go to, right? Even particular tracks, it's all different. Even the series, even though it's the same race, two wheels, right? It's still different. Man, the fans at BSB from the time they opened to close was just intense. The energy, the crowd, it was absolutely proper mega to see. Where in America, yes, we got fans that show up, but they're not lively.
Yeah.
They're not, they're just sitting around drinking beer, watching the race. They do that there too, but they're like, whoa, let's go. Wow, all that, right? Here, like we're not playing golf, people, right? But you're right. That also goes with the culture and the way it's televised and the way it's advertised. You know, that's one thing that I see in the United States that we're really missing out on is You go to any local motorcycle dealerships, and I'm not talking all of them because there are some that do it. I'm going to say 85% of them has nothing about any Moto America event, track days, club racing, nothing. Not one thing, right? Think of the missed opportunities that they're missing out to help grow the sport. When people come in, yeah, their little kid wants to buy a PW50, but say, hey, there's some local dirt tracks right around the corner. You can get it. And also, there's a kart track at VIR. You guys look into this and get them on it's a big missed opportunity, right? It's like they just want to sell units and make those sales, right? Which I get, but they're not contributing, in my eyes, to grow the actual sport.
Yep.
It's just a hub where people go and pick up their UTV, ATV, dirt bike, crotch rocket, whatever it is, right? Other than that, nothing's mentioned. But do you want an extended warranty on this? Why don't you talk to them about track days and club racing, people? Let's go, right? Yeah, it's just different around the world, and you're right. And that's why they are, I don't want to say this, more successful in road racing because they have the infrastructure and they have the commodity. And like you said, you're more willing to get, sponsorships and stuff like that thrown at you versus here in America. I feel like everybody's dunking into the same pond, right? When you look outside, bring different sponsorships into the sport to help it grow here in America too as well. Let me ask you this. What's your whole thoughts on the whole Talent Cup when they got rid of the Junior Cup?
Honestly, I think it's great what they're doing. I think it's definitely a different step from what they've been doing, because I know before the Junior Cup it was the RC 390s. I think they were running those. That was way before I started racing, but yeah, I think they were running the 390s at the time, and then they switched to the Junior Cup, and then now they're running the Talent Cup. I think what Moto America is doing, I think that's good. I think that's great what they're trying to do with the Kramers. Honestly, I can't really say too much about it because I haven't been keeping track of it too much. But
shame on you. No, I'm just playing.
I think it's great. I think what they're doing, what Moto America is doing, I think they're trying to, try different things. They're trying to expand with different stuff.
Yeah. Have you ever been interested in doing the TT?
Yeah, that maybe in the future. Yeah, always. Yeah.
I love it, man. I love the TT. I think it's the most beautiful race ever in the history of mankind, womankind, all kinds, right? It's proper mega for sure. I can point you in the right direction. I can get you connected with the right people. We can make that happen, brother, for sure. We can make that happen. Be awesome, right? Your mom would be like, absolutely not, right? But yeah, let's go. So listen, we're in 2025, man. So you said you just do a couple rounds out there in Thailand. When's your next round, and where do you sit in the championship right now?
Yeah, so our next round would be actually in 2 weeks, so pretty soon. So when you actually first reached out to me, I was currently in Thailand. So I've been traveling back and forth. I've been going to Thailand. I'll be staying out there for 2-3 weeks, maybe come back home for a week, maybe 2 weeks. I think it would honestly be cheaper just to stay out there and live out there. But we don't have the proper visa or paperwork to actually stay out there that long. That's why we have to come back and forth. Our next race will be September 20th through the 22nd. Pretty excited about that. Right now we're second in championship points behind, I believe, 25. So not too far. We definitely have some room to make up for, but we still have we still have the rest of the year. So I think we could definitely still catch up and take the championship, which is the plan, which is the goal. The team that I'm with this year is the same team I ran with last year. We did have some mechanical issues last year, which was completely fine. We still put it on the top box in the podium. But I think it's good we had those mechanical issues because it just made us a better team this year. Yeah, so we're actually prepared this year. We're actually we built a bike to how I like it this year, and we're solid this year. I'm actually confident this year that we should take the championship. So yeah, pretty stoked. It wasn't a brand new bike because I rode that bike last year. It wasn't a brand new team, so I know how everything flows. I know the team owner, I know the team manager, I know the mechanic guys. They understand how I like the bike to be ridden. They understand when I like the tires to be taken out. So less communication, less work. So when we go out there, it's just bang, bang, bang. You know, we're always on the roll. So pretty simple, and I enjoy working with teams like that, because in the past, we wouldn't do the full season. In the past, we would just go out there, do 1 round, 2 rounds, and it was frustrating because we would go out there. I would work with a brand new team. I'd race a brand new bike that I've never even ridden before. I have 1 day to get used to it, and then the next day I got to qualify. And the other thing is, a lot of the guys out there in my team, they don't speak English, so the language barrier is definitely there. So so it was a lot of stress, that's for sure. Yeah, going out there, brand new bike, brand new team. You got 1 day of practice. The next day you got to qualify, and then the day after that you got to race. So it was really frustrating, very stressful, but we got through it though. We got through it. In the past, when we were racing the 400s out there, we still took a first place. We definitely had to work hard for that first place though, but yeah, we still made it happen. And this year we're racing the 600 class now. Last year we took 2 first places. This year we already took a second. So I feel like we're pretty solid so far. Yeah, but definitely we're.
Listen, Aden, I say it all the time how important it is to have that team belief behind you, and the good people you have on your team makes a huge difference, especially right here as a rider, right? Because it gives you need to focus on what you need to focus on to do your job on the bike after they do what they do to the bike, and you explain what you're feeling and what needs to be improved and this and that. So the importance of having that team and being the second year with the same team, with the same people on the same bike, just gives you an advantage over other people, especially what you just talked about. It's hard for people to come in on a weekend with a brand new team on a brand new bike you never even seen before. Maybe they send you pictures, but still it's not the same as physically sitting on it and you're like, okay, I need my clip-ons here, my brake lever here, my clutch here, the rear set's here. It's like, dude, that right there is a couple hours worth of work, especially if they don't speak the same language, because you're sitting there on Google Translate going,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And they're looking at you like this, and then they might do something totally opposite, and you're like, wait a minute, no, this, you know? Yeah, I can see where that took away from here for you to concentrate on what you needed to do to be happy out there on the track, right? Now you're with the team. It's your second year with them, third year coming up in 2026, maybe. But that puts your foot above, in front of everybody else that shows up on that weekend that has to deal with that, right? Which, yeah, that would be very difficult to do for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty excited with the guys that I'm working with. They're great guys. Like I said, the team owner, the guy who owns the team, that manages everything. He's a really chill guy. He's really chill. He doesn't talk too much. He always has a very stern face on him, so you can tell he's always he's locked in. He's there for business. He's there to get everything straight, everything cut out for his riders. And I'm not his only rider as well. He also helps out another guy. He's from Australia. He races the S1000 in the superbike class. So he'll come to me and be like, everything good? I'm like, everything's perfect. And then he'll wander off, go help other people, come back, making sure that everything's good to go. But I think when everything is set for at least this series, right? When everything is set, everything is set. So it's not like Moto America where we travel to different circuits. The BRC Superbike Championship, unfortunately, we only race at one circuit throughout the whole series. So we have 7-8 rounds just at the same track. So once the bike's dialed in the first race, you're pretty much good to go for the whole season, unless you get faster and suspension needs to change, gear needs to change, little stuff like that, maybe tech. I think once you're broken in the first round, I think you're pretty well set for the rest of the year, which is the good part versus racing in Moto America. Oh, I still remember the first 3 years of Junior Cup. We were going to all of these brand new tracks, and you only had so much time to to practice the track, especially your first year in Moto America, where going to VIR or Jersey or Barber, right? It's your first time there, and you only have so much time to get used to the track. And as you get faster, as you start improving, your suspension is going to change, your gearing is going to change, everything's going to change, and you get faster as the weekend goes on. Maybe race one you were faster in race one than qualifying, so gearing needs to change, or your lines or suspension needs to change. So I definitely got that experience racing here in Moto America. So by the time when I went back to Thailand and we're just racing at one track, one circuit now, it's pretty easy to get dialed in pretty fast. And I think definitely racing here in Moto America has taught me to learn tracks really fast. It's taught me to learn the lines very fast. Even when I went out to Europe and I did some training in Spain and Cartagena, I felt pretty solid by the second session. Right? I felt pretty fast. Yeah, I was only 2 seconds off of the 600 race times by my second, third session in. So it was pretty good. Yeah, it was definitely good out there. But
I love it. I love it. That's I didn't know that. Right? Do you guys do? Is it all the same way, or do you guys run it in reverse too as well?
it's only one direction.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the BRC Superbike series in Thailand. That's pretty much like the Moto America of Thailand. Yeah, it's the high. Yeah. They have smaller like club races. Like I did one with the whole shot, which is northern Thailand up in Chiang Rai, and then I just did one last year at Byra and Pattaya. Forgot what that series was called, but it's a good little series. Yeah, it's just like a club race series, and then you have BRC Superbike, and then of course you have Asia Road Racing, which is I believe the highest level of motorcycle road racing throughout Asia.
Yeah, I think you're right on that for sure. Yeah, it's bro, you're a superstar. Congratulations, man, on your journey too, as well, right? I mean, starting at 15, first year in Moto America, over there racing in Thailand, winning championships. I mean, bro, you got it going on. I love it, man. Congratulations too.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome. You're very welcome. So, 2026, as soon as you find out the news, Aden, you hit me up. Me and you'll drop it live on a podcast. 110%. That's freaking amazing. Let me ask you this: how do you train?
So Rich Oliver, I don't know if you know about
Rich Oliver. Yeah,
Rich Oliver. He's actually 15-20 minutes away from me. So I would go up to his camp. He used to run the Rich Oliver Mystery School camp, and fortunately enough, he's only 20 minutes from me. So back then, I don't go there no more because I don't think he currently runs his program anymore. But I would go up there every weekend or almost every other day. Just go out there and just flat track, and just ride flat track out there and train on the dirt. And he was just like, yeah, whenever you're free, come on up. He would always have classes up there too. So, I'd help him instruct a little bit. I would go up there and just ride around on his property, just have fun up there. But besides that, if I'm not flat tracking or on the dirt, I'm just at the gym. I go to the gym every day, try to stay physically fit, try to stay healthy. Which is kind of crazy now that I talk about Rich Oliver. There's actually a lot of guys around me in my area as well. Andrew Lee, I was still really good friends with him. He was born and raised here in Fresno as well. He doesn't live here in California anymore. I think he moved out to Reno, but I was really good friends with him before I even got into road racing. So that actually brings up something too. Andrew actually got me really big into the road racing scene. So Andrew, if you're watching this, I want to thank you so much. He was actually one of my first actual coaches too, and I wish I could send you a picture right now of when I was on my Ninja 250, and Andrew, he was still, I think he was still with Graves at the time. Like he was the stock 1000 champion at the time, and he was on his ZX10. But yeah, see, I have so much to talk about now that I brought it up. But so I'm just gonna tell a quick story, and then you'll have to remind me what we were talking about.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so way back. This is like 2-3 years back before I even thought about getting a motorcycle. I mean, to this day, I'm a big outdoorsman. If I'm not racing motorcycles, I'm outdoors. I'm a big fisher. I'm a big hunter. I love hiking, camping, everything, anything that deals with outdoors. So at the time, I was maybe 8th grade, 9th grade at the time, and I was posting these fishing videos on YouTube at the time. Really cringy videos at the time, but I was posting these videos on YouTube, and Andrew Lee actually hit me up, and he actually was like, "Hey, I'm from Fresno. If you want to go fishing sometime." And at the time, I had no idea who Andrew was. I had no idea even about motorcycles in general because I just wasn't into it at the time. And I think I reached back out to Andrew. I was like, "Yeah, let's do some fishing sometime." And I think a year or 2 years went by, and that's when I finally started getting back into. Or that's when I started getting into motorcycles, and then I did a little bit of research about Andrew Lee, and I was like, wow, he's an actual like motorcycle racer. He's a 2-time stock 1000 champ in Moto Americas. So that's how that story started. I have all these pictures and stuff of me and Andrew fishing. We were really good friends back when he was still living here in Fresno too. So yeah, he was actually one of my first coaches as well at Bunt Willow Raceway. I still remember that day like it feels yesterday. But yeah, no, big thank you to him. He's doing great right now in the
Orange Cat. Yep.
Yeah, him and Jason Uribe, the
Yep.
California natives. So I'm very proud, very proud of what those guys are doing. So.
Oh, 100%. Andrew Lee, I had the honor to meet him. Where did I finally catch up with him at? Was it at VRR? Mid Ohio last year? Somewhere. I can't remember. I finally caught up to him, reached out to him on social media. I'm gonna have him on the podcast. I've had Jason Uribe already on, but we're gonna sit down again. But yeah, I'm good friends with his girlfriend, Mallory Dobbs, which races Moto America now and WCR out there in the world stage. And yeah, it's a small world, Aden. You're right. It's a very small world, right? But that story you told, remember when I talked about, hey man, as you bring up your story, you're gonna come up with stuff and you're gonna want to talk about it. It's exactly what I meant, right? So it's, man, what an amazing story, right? To go fishing with Andrew Lee, bro. So I fish too. I love to fish. I used to be real big into smallmouth and largemouth bass fishing around here. And then I went deep sea fishing with my family, and I caught a 500-pound blue marlin. And then I went back and tried to do some smallmouth bass fishing again. I was like, this sucks. This is boring. Like I want a big fight. Like I wanted that big fight, you know. But yeah, fishing's awesome, man. It's a good way to relax and free your mind of all the BS struggles we go through from day to day. You know, you speak about training and flat track racing, which I think personally is probably one of the best ways to train on a motorcycle because you're constantly losing the front, losing the rear, and you're finding that grip, right?
Yeah.
And then of course the gym and obviously eating healthy too, right? So I tell this dude, I used to be almost 300 pounds, bro. I'm down to like 208, all by changing my diet and cooking homemade meals and making my own salad dressings and being subconsciously aware of what I eat. You know, they make it easy to work 10 hours a day, and who's got time to come home and make a 2-hour meal and blah, 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 blah. Oh, just stop here and get this. And yeah, it's good, right? But it's so unhealthy for you. So all that goes together. It's man. Yeah. And then we spoke about Thai food earlier, man. I'm telling you, my cousin's wife, she absolutely turned me on to Thai food. It's hands down one of my favorite foods to this day. My wife, not so much, but me, absolutely. And to be honest, I love spicy food, right? So Aden, and I love Indian food, which brings me to this point real quick. I like super hot stuff, like the hot ones on YouTube. I don't know if you ever watched the hot ones where the dude interviews and ate chicken wings from whatever, 1,200 Scoville to 3 million Scoville, right?
Yep.
So I go to this Indian restaurant, and usually when I go to the Thai restaurant, I usually get 5 out of 5 spice. So I go to this Indian restaurant, and I'm like, yep, let me get the 5 out of 5, but give me that special sauce you guys make in the back, not for the public usually. He's like, are you sure about that? I'm like, absolutely, let's do it. So he walks off, and I see him talking to the two waiters, and they're all looking at me laughing, right? And I'm like, okay, I got it. I got this, you know. Bro, he brings this plate of food out. I'm about 6 bites into it, and all of a sudden I was like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. Like I asked for what I want. I'm in trouble. Like I gotta finish this. And I wanted to cry. I really wanted to cry, and I really wanted to stop, but I just ate it so fast because I was already numb. My tongue hurt so bad I couldn't even feel anything anyway. So I ate it, and I was like, "Yeah, that was good." And I'm sweating profusely. I'm red as our names right here on the screen. And they were like, "Dude, we've never seen nobody do that. You know, come in and ask for that and eat it." So every time I go back there now, they're like, "Do you want the special sauce?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm good on the special sauce. I appreciate it, but." Yeah. No.
Oh yeah. Yeah, especially you love Thai food, you definitely have to try the spice in Thailand. Yeah, so
100%.
I love spice, but if I know I have a race coming up or a track day coming up, then I take it easy on the spice.
I feel you on that. Oh, that's hilarious. Well, listen, Aden, this has been a lot of fun, man. We're 51 minutes into this. I want to transition into the second part of the podcast when we get to know you away from all the racetrack talk, but stay on with me after we end this because we'll go ahead and schedule our part 2 of the journey. I want to first off by asking, man, what's your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, go-to karaoke song? I mean, it kind of depends what mood I'm in. I mean, you got sad karaoke songs. You got songs that you could actually sing to, like happy songs. I think the most recent one that I actually karaoke to, which I think it was just like me and a few friends that were just being dumb, right? But it's probably Phil Collins, In the Air. That one, I think I sang that one pretty good. But Hotel California, that one was also a good one. I like the slower songs. I can't really karaoke to the fast ones unless I physically have like the lyrics in front of me. But I'm not much of a singer. I think sometimes when me and my buddies are hanging out, sometimes you think you can sing, and it just sometimes comes out. But yeah, not much of a singer, but definitely the slower like 80s, 90s songs. Yeah, I think would probably be my favorite.
I love it, man. I love it. Tell us something we don't know about you at all.
I mean, that's a tough one. Nothing I can really think of off the top of my head. I mean, of course, everyone has good and bad things that people don't know about. But I don't know, like something that people don't know about.
Something we don't know about you at all. Like maybe, hey, when I was growing up, I wanted to be a bass player or a drum player or whatever, professional singer. Or I'm good at crochet or whatever, right? Something that nobody knows about you.
Well, I actually really wanted to get into law enforcement before motorcycles ever even came up. I mean, to this day, I still want to get into law enforcement. Like, really big into outdoors, really big into firearms ever since I was a child growing up. So, law enforcement, any kind of anything in that field. Like to this day, I still wouldn't mind. I really loved outdoors, like hunting and fishing. So like maybe being a game warden, specialization, maybe like that kind of field. Department of Fish and Game. Love those guys. Maybe like being a sheriff or I don't know, anything. But I think ever since I got into racing, I kind of just pushed that off to the side. I haven't really like done much research about that kind of stuff, but I think it's to this day would be really cool. And I know earlier I mentioned that I was never really into aviation like my dad and my oldest brother, but being a fighter pilot, like an actual fighter pilot, like in the Navy or like just being in the Air Force or something, because my dad, he would always take us to watch the Thunderbirds or like the Blue Angels and like air shows and stuff. And I've always been fascinated with airplanes. I was just never fascinated with like commercial airplanes or like the Cessnas or like the Tomahawks and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I've always liked speed. If I was gonna become a pilot, I wanted to become a fighter pilot, you know. But I've never had any interest of being like a commercial like pilot and like, all right, guys, today's
This is your captain, Aden Theo speaking. I know the routine. I've been on it many, many times. Yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah, like I'm not hating on no one, but it's just like it's just like motorcycles, you know. Like if I'm gonna hop on a motorcycle, I wanna hop on a sport bike. I wanna feel that power. I wanna have that speed. Like I don't want to just hop in a Boeing 737 or something, you know. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. A boring 747. I got it.
But I've watched all like the Top Gun movies and stuff. Like to this day, I still go back and watch all of those movies. I'm still very fascinated with aviation, just not like the slow
the commercial.
But
hey,
maybe,
I feel you, bro.
Maybe in the next lifetime, maybe if I'm reborn again, then I'll shoot for that, and I'll just skip motorcycles completely.
So I take it life after racing is going to be sheriff department.
It might be a fighter pilot first.
I love it. I love it. Hey, man, you know, whatever visions and goal you have in front of you in your journey in life, whatever you want to complete in racing or a career, whatever, bro, I hope you achieve it 10 times over, 100%. So, and you'll do it, my friend. I have no doubt about. Tell us what your worst habit is.
Oh, worst habit. I mean, I think everyone could relate to this. Usually in the off season. So for BRIC, right, for the championship series that I race in, our series is kind of weird. So our series is really short, uncompared to like maybe even the Moto America season. I know Moto America, I think they start up in April and they end in October or something.
September, yeah.
September, yeah. Our season, well, this year is a little longer, but the years in the past, they didn't start their first round until like May, and they didn't end, or they ended in like September. So it was a really short season, but I don't know. I guess that's just how they ran their series out there. So when the series ended in like September, October, I had like 4 or 5 months just to like eat whatever I want, right? So right now I'm 135 pounds, like the leanest and the most healthiest I've ever been. So I feel really good about myself right now, like my current physique. But in the off season, I'm like pushing 150, 155 pounds, right? Just eating whatever I want, like totally not going to the gym. But I would say that's one of my bad habits, even during like racing season right now, especially if you have the opportunity. I know if Michael's watching this right now, he totally understands. When you go out to Thailand, all right, I don't know about Spain because I wasn't too big of a fan of the food in Spain, but Thailand, the food out there is amazing. It's so good, it's so cheap, and there's food everywhere, like absolutely everywhere you go. It's just like you walk down the street and you're passing by all of these food vendors, right? And there's so much like unhealthy stuff, but it tastes so good out there. It's so cheap too, right? So that's probably one of my bad habits. I think at home, when I'm at home, I feel like I'm pretty locked in. I'm pretty good with my diet and the consistency of working out. Oh man, but when I'm out there overseas, I'm just like eating like a pig. So that's one of my bad habits. But I love food. I love food like a lot. So yeah, definitely need to tone down on the food out there. That's for sure.
Dude, I love food too, man. Especially good food. It's hard, you know, and you're right, you know, but everything in moderation is not going to hurt you, my friend. It's just when you over moderate, right? Yeah. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna go for a second one of those. It was so good. Yeah. Which brings me, dude. So I love to cook. You love food. So do you like to cook too as well?
Oh yeah. I might not be the greatest chef in the world. I might not be the Gordon Ramsay, but I mean, I could definitely cook up a few good things. Yeah.
He said, I could throw down for sure. Yeah. I love it, man. Let me ask you this, Aden. If you had one superpower, what's the one superpower you'd have?
I think it'd definitely be time travel. Time travel, or I mean, teleportation would be pretty nice too. I've always, man. So like, I was just joking with my mom about this, right? Not too long ago, because I just got back from Thailand, just like maybe not even 2 weeks ago, and right when you fly overseas and you're flying in these big old airplanes, right, like the 2-story airplanes, and you look at the screen in front of you, it shows you how fast the airplane is moving, right? And I think the plane was doing like 500 and something miles per hour, right? And I'm like, Mom, I think it's kind of BS how it's 2025. We're doing 500 miles per hour in the sky, and it still takes us 18 hours to get to Thailand from the United States. Like, if I had one superpower, it'd definitely be like if I could teleportation. Like, you're telling me 500 miles per hour flying through the sky, and it still takes 15, 18 hours to get to Thailand, right? Oh man, I don't know. I just love to just rant and say dumb stuff like that to my
No,
mom.
dude, Aiden, listen, it's funny you say that because I thought about this the other day myself. I was like, you know what? What really hadn't advanced a whole lot is our common airplanes, right? It's stagnant almost. Like there's no big evolutions on anything. It's just like, okay, this is what we got. Let's go. You're right. It's 2025, people. Why does it take 18 hours to get? We should be able to get there in 6 hours.
Yeah.
You know, easily.
Maybe it's not physically possible. Maybe if it was possible, it probably would have happened by now. But I don't know. But like you said, like ever since like maybe like the 50s or something, because we had jets back then that was doing 1,000 miles per hour back in the 50s, 60s, and not much has changed in the past 70, 80 years. At least when it comes to like aircrafts like that. So, but I'm not an aircraft engineer or something, so who am I to say?
Me neither. I just put models together. That's as far as my engineering aspect goes, right? So I feel. And as far as teleportation, I always said the same thing when I got asked that question. Teleportation, man, because I could be like, Aden, we're gonna do the podcast live at your house. I'll be there in like 3 seconds. Bam, there I am, right? I got all my stuff. Let's do it. And then I'm going home, or hey, I'm gonna go to Thailand and watch Aden race. Boom, there I am, right? And then I don't even need hotels. I don't need none of that. And I'm back at home asleep. Yeah, dude.
That'd be nice. That'd be really, really cool.
That would be absolutely amazing. I listen to a lot of audiobooks. Is that something you do too as well?
Not audiobooks, but I do listen to a lot of podcasts. Though. I listen to yours, especially yours. I've been keeping track with you, maybe longer than you've been keeping track of me, because you've done a lot of interviews with a lot of the Moto America guys. So I've always heard your name, always been keeping track with it. Maybe not a lot like watched every episode you throw out, but like every other one. So I was pretty excited, pretty stoked when you finally did reach out to me. But like I mentioned earlier, really big outdoorsman. So I do listen to a lot of the hunting and fishing podcasts and stuff. Maybe when I'm driving, or maybe it's just something to listen to while like you're trying to fall asleep. Something that I listen to on the plane as well. It's just nice. It's just nice to listen to sometimes. Sometimes it's just good like background noise too.
Yeah. No, I feel you. And dude, again, thank you for all the love and support, Aden. It means it's such an honor. It really is. And I say this to everybody. I say it at the end of every podcast. If it wasn't for Aden and everybody else that likes and subscribes and watches and listens and all the messages I get, man, it's nothing, absolutely nothing but love. And thank you, guys and girls, so much, because it's an honor. It really is. So thank you. It's yeah. I listen to a lot of podcasts too. I haven't really listened to many fishing or hunting ones. I listen to, of course, your staple like Joe Rogan, Danny Jones. I do listen to motorcycle racing podcast, of course, but also like other like mysteries and murders. My wife got me into that stuff like that. And you're right, it's good either noise or when I'm cooking or taking a shower or driving to work or at work. It's just it makes the day go by quicker, right? Into a story kind of. And so yeah, man, I feel you on that. Audiobooks is something that I recently got into. I've probably been listening to them for about 6 years now. Again, it was when I really kind of started getting into podcasting, not doing them, but listening to them. And it's just different than just listening to music, right? Because you're learning stuff. And I'm big into like Greek mythology and ancient Egypt and stuff like that. So I listen to podcasts on stuff like that, because I've always been interested, like, how did the pyramids actually get built? And, all that cool stuff. So ancient mysteries. And my wife will tell you I'm a conspiracy theorist for sure, because I question everything. I'm like, but yeah, so I feel you on that. I do, man. Dude, you talked about guns. Big family of guns. We love our guns too. I bought Rossi his first gun when he was 7. I bought him AR-15.
Nice.
He knows how to take them apart, put them together. We go shooting. Well, that's something we did post COVID, because ammo was fairly cheap and it was in
Yeah.
abundance. After COVID hit, it was just prices went through the roof. So we haven't really been squeezing the trigger much here lately.
Yeah. I've never been too much of a person to talk about like political stuff or like where you stand, because I know a lot of people, especially in my state. I don't know about your state, but I live in a blue state, right? But I don't really talk about like your political point of views or anything, but other people's political point of views. But here in California, we have like the strictest like gun laws, firearm laws here. But yeah. I've been raised around firearms. I support Second Amendment. I have a few ARs myself, a few AKs myself. I'm a big hunter as well, so I have a lot of shotguns. I have a lot of rifles that I take out deer hunting as well. And yeah, I think that's something that a lot of people don't know until I actually tell them. I'm a really big outdoors, and like just the other day, I just came back from a deer hunt. Just got back from a dove hunt a few days ago as well. And then maybe in my free time, I'm out there fishing, either largemouth bass fishing trout, smallies, everything, you name it. Yeah. I'm just not in my room right now. My room, no. If you were to walk in my room, it wouldn't be like yours, right? Like half my room would have like my trophies, my leathers, like a few helmets and stuff, but the other half of my room is like I have taxidermies of all the animals that I've shot and killed in the past. I have taxidermies of fish. In my closet, I have all my rifles, all my firearms in there. Yeah, so yeah, I'm very like I said, very very big in outdoors. Love support the Second Amendment. When I turned 21, I bought my first handgun. I got my CCW, so I'm a carrier as well. So, yep.
Me too, buddy. Me too. Right? Yeah. Yeah. Fishing something I want to try to get back into. Like I said, that deep sea fishing journey just absolutely killed my smallmouth fishing. But have you ever fished with mad toms? Have you ever caught mad toms and used them to fish with bass before?
I haven't. No.
Bro, dude. So mad toms are literally they're little baby catfish. You flip up rocks and you gotta catch them and you throw them on the line. Dude, you will murder the only smallmouth will bite them too. You don't have to worry about any other fish. And it's like crack cocaine to fish. No BS for them small. You literally cast and it's like bam. You're like, holy cow. It's yeah. It's here in Virginia though, it's illegal to catch them and fish with them.
Yeah. I was just gonna say that too. I think
but I do it, right?
Yeah, I don't think you could use any sort of like game fish or
live, no.
Yeah, live fish for off here. But I did get into, I don't know how big of the bass fishing scene you're into, but just last year I did get into like the really big swim bait game. I don't know if you've seen it, but like they would throw like 10, 12 inch like swim baits for largemouths, and I did start getting into that too. Maybe I'll send you a few pictures of my largemouths after this.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah, I definitely got into it as well. So I think my season, like, this is kind of off topic, but my season is like in the springtime. If racing hasn't started yet and I'm not training, in the springtime from like February to April, I'm bass fishing really hard. Like I'm fishing really, really hard. And then usually like by April, May, like racing season starts back up, right? So, okay, yeah, you got to go back to work for however long. Maybe you come back home and then you got some free time, then you go back out, do some fishing. Once August hits for me, I start to transition into hunting. August is when archery deer opens, which was not that long ago, actually, just a few weeks ago. And then September 1st is dove season. And then after that, we start transitioning into rifle deer season. So it's just a lot of stuff that I love to do. And if I'm not racing, I'm back at home fishing or hunting. So that's kind of the only thing that my mind is pretty much wrapped around 24/7. So I'm still currently taking classes right now, online classes for school. So pretty busy schedule, but I think I enjoy what I do as of right now. Still got a good amount of free time, and then when it's time to work, then you go out and you go to work, but you enjoy your work, you know?
Yeah. It's not work if you enjoy it, for sure. Yeah, 110%. Man, this has been a lot of fun, Aden. We're an hour and 10 minutes into this podcast, man. It's been an honor to sit down with you today.
It's been a great time talking with you, and I'm always open for future podcasts as well. So.
Yeah, dude, listen, we're going to schedule our second one as soon as I end this podcast, which I'm going to do here in a minute. I'm going to give the microphone to you. Before I let you end the podcast, I got to give all my shout outs. And I just said it earlier, but I'm going to say it again. Thank you to everybody that watches the podcast, that likes to subscribe. If you had not had the opportunity, please do. It does help me out a lot. And thank you. Without your guys' love and support, and without my friends like Aden and everybody else come on this podcast, I would not be able to sit here and do it. So it's nothing but love to each and every single one of you out there, because you guys are the ones that make this happen. I just sit down with the microphone. That's it, right? So thank you guys so much, and I really appreciate it. Big shout out to Next Level Financial, Chef Eats, TST Industries. Everybody's always asking me where I get my beanie hats and my soft shell jacket. You guys can go to clothingkings.co.uk and get all your Pin to Gas podcast merch out there. I had a little stumble there for a second. Big shout out to 64 Degree Racing and venomsport.com. They make undersuits. Aden, that's one thing I tell people. Don't show up to a race weekend or club weekend, especially if you're a beginner, with just one undersuit. Bring more undersuits than you do clothes, because you can wear that home if you needed to, right? Absolutely. And if you're in the market, 64degreeracing.com and venomsport.com. You're not going to go wrong by ordering from either one of those. Next thing I want to say is big shout out to all the corner marshal workers, all the men and women that go out there and do all the corner marshal working. Thank you guys and girls so much, because without you there, and without the air fences there, and without the guy in the ambulance, we're not going racing. So big thank you to every single one of you across the board, across the world. Again, if it wasn't for you guys and girls showing up, we wouldn't be able to show up. Us watch Aden go out there and do what he does and have fun. So thank you guys and girls so much for doing that. Another thing I want to say too is, man, support your friends in the business, meaning that if you wanted to buy shirts, jackets, leather suits, buy parts for your motorcycle, don't order that shit off of Temu and Amazon and Target and none of that stuff. Keep it local, keep it in the business, keep it within the industry. It helps it out a whole lot. And thank you very much. Big shout out to Khomeini AGV Sports Group, right? Absolutely amazing people. And Truth Be Told Apparel and Remix Racing Project. Listen, Aden, again, it's been an absolute honor to have you on the podcast today, my friend. Tell everybody where they can follow you on social media. Do you have any merch for sale, by the way?
I currently at the moment do not have any merch for sale, but I'm sure if you reach out to AGV Sport Khomeini, I'm sure they would be more than happy to make you guys any custom shirts that you guys have in mind. So if I'm sure if you reach out to them, you help out them, I'm sure it'll help out me in the future as well. So yeah, I want to thank you one more time for having me here. Like I mentioned earlier, I've been keeping track with you for quite some time now, maybe for the past year, probably about a year now. You've been doing a lot of podcasts, a lot of Motor America racers at the time, so I still keep up with a lot of them. So I've heard your name, I've watched a few of your podcasts. So by the time you reached out to me, I was super stoked to be here. Most importantly, though, I want to thank you, the host, the most for having us here, and I want to just take this time to say thank you to a few sponsors that helped make this happen. Because without them, I wouldn't be where I am today. Most importantly, I want to thank my title sponsors, AGB Sports Group, Khomeini, Michael, and Michelle. They've been nothing but, doing great stuff for me. I know you just recently got in contact with them as well, so that's great. That's great to hear. I want to thank them once again. I did have one crash in Thailand. I had a low speed, low side, and the suit kept me safe. I have nothing to complain about it. And I think those guys, they're really helpful. They know what they're doing, so don't be afraid to reach out to them. Another sponsor as well is HV Helmets. I've been wearing HV helmets for the past 5 years. I'm a little biased because I've been with them for so long, but best looking helmet on the market. I love the HV Pista helmets, the Valentino Rossi. He's just the gold standard of the helmets, and I'm kind of disappointed that I don't see much riders wear AGV, but which is fine because I'm the cool one on the whole paddock. So I'm the only one with this. So yeah. Big thank you to HV Helmets. Crashed many times wearing their helmets. They kept me all safe. So thank you, HV. Another title sponsor of mine is Top Control. They do an anti-theft security company. They're based out of Minnesota. They've been with me for the past 2 years. One of our biggest sponsors, biggest supporters to have ever sponsored me. So without them, I think this whole program would have never came together. So they're like the top guys that put all the funding, all the support and sponsorship businesses and everything together. So thank you, Top Control. Another one is Carter Law Firm. They're a law firm here in Fresno, California. They're also my attorneys. So if I ever run into any trouble, I have someone to call. Good thing I haven't had to call them yet, which is good. But really great people. They've been with me for a few years. The Fresno Center, they've been with me for I think when I first started racing motorcycles, they've been with me. So they've been with me for a very long time. And Rise, they've been with me for about 2-3 years now. So I want to thank those sponsors once again. I don't think I missed out anyone, but I want to thank them for being part of the program. A lot of the sponsors that I have this year, they've been with me for a long time. So thank you once again. You know, you get a lot of sponsors that come and go. So, I mean, those guys are just as important as well. But I want to thank you for having me here once again.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Aden. The honor's absolutely all mine, my friend. And yeah, on that note, MotoGP this weekend, BSB racing this weekend, which brings me, let's go Gus Rodeo. Our boys out there right now at BSB doing a wild card this weekend. So let's get it in. We know you can do it. And yeah, thank you guys so much. This episode will be out everywhere tomorrow, all that good stuff. I'll tag on all the socials and all that good stuff. But yeah, listen, Aden. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolutely proper mega time, and you guys stay tuned for part 2 because we're going to schedule that here in 1 second. Aden, is there anything you want to say before we get off here?
I think I'm good. I just want to say thank you to everyone back at home watching this. I want to thank you, the hosts, once again. Thank you to all the sponsors that helped make this happen. And feel free to keep up with me on my social media accounts. Definitely more active on Facebook than Instagram. My Facebook that we generally post everything on is Cali Shine Racing. And my personal account on Instagram and Facebook is a.thao, Thao 55.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been an absolute honor to sit down with the legend Aden Thao today on the podcast. Let's go. All right, buddy, just stay on with me for 1 second, okay?
Good.
Calling all two-wheel enthusiasts, get ready to rev up your earbuds with Pin the Gas Podcast, the ultimate motorcycle racing podcast, hosted by Chris Simcoe, one of our very own excellent leaders here in Roanoke, Virginia. With expert analysis, behind-the-scenes stories, and exclusive writer interviews, Pin the Gas Podcast delivers the adrenaline rush of the racetrack straight to your ears. Whether you're a diehard fan or a curious newcomer, you'll gain insights that will transform how you watch and understand motorcycle racing. On your favorite podcast app, join Simcoe as he takes you on a high-speed journey through the world of motorcycle racing. Pin the Gas Podcast.